Good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultan Oman Television. First, the headlines. The State Council Office discusses studies including activating domestic tourism sector and investing elements of Omani history in presenting and producing cultural tourism projects. Oman Investment Authority ranks second in the world in the Index of Development of Governance and Sustainability Performance between 2022 and 2023. And the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones reveals the details of the decision regarding setting fees for more than 80 services. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Abdul Majid Tebboune, President of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, on the occasion of his country's independence anniversary. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq sent a similar cable to His Excellency Nicolas Maduro, President of the Bolivian Republic of Venezuela, on the occasion of his country's independence anniversary. Meanwhile, His Majesty the Sultan sent cable greetings to His Excellency Jose Maria Neves, President of the Republic of Cabo Verde, on the occasion of his country's National Day. The State Council Office in the meeting today discussed a number of studies, including activating the domestic tourism sector, defining legislative and legal policies, and investing the elements of the Omani history in presenting and producing cultural tourism projects. The Council also discussed the study submitted by the Social Committee on the promotion of the Omani national identity and the study presented by the Technology and Innovation Committee regarding the use of technology in formulating an innovative system for performance governance in the state's administrative apparatus. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al Khalili, Chairman of the State Council. The State Audit Institution submitted the annual 2022 report to His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq. The report included around 180 auditing missions, resulting in the 147 field reports. The state handled 587 complaints on administrative and financial violations. The institution conducted 78 inspection missions and produced 58 auditing reports on works of institutions, investments, and companies in the various sectors, including energy, aviation, environment, electricity, and mining. Also, 103 missions were conducted, producing 89 auditing reports on tax collection and administrative and financial activities in government sector, mainly commerce, agriculture, tourism, labor, health, and education. Oman Investment Authority, OIA, ranked second in the world in the Index of Development of Governance and Sustainability Performance between 2022 and 2023. It posted 28% improvement in its accomplishments compared to 200 global sovereign funds. The report indicates that OIA seeks to achieve operational excellence and develop a global identity, notably after its emergence as a merger of the State's General Reserve Fund and the Oman Investment Fund. The report noted that the data issued by OIA highlights investments and their strategies and an exit plan. It explains that OIA is in process of devising a new framework that corresponds to the goals of sustainable development. The Oman Investment Authority adheres to a large proportion of Santiago principles issued by the IFSWF. This company's unified procedures related to the nature of functions of funds and their objectives. They define a standard structure that accurately reflects the requirements of disclosure, transparency, governance, accountability, and risk management. The Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, or PAZ, revealed in a press conference today details of the decision to specify fees for over 80 services More details in the following report.
A press conference was held to reveal the details of the decision to specify fees for over 80 services by the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones, OPAZ. This is within the various Special Economic Zones and Free Zones affiliated with OPAZ.
Actually, this is pursuant to the decision 63/2023 about the decision made by OPAZ management in relation to reduction of service fees. And this is OPA's role is to engage with the media and also with the investors to be able to express the effort it's been made.
The decision included a 50% reduction in fees of these services for small and medium enterprises, SMEs, according to the schedule published in the official Gazette. This comes as an important step towards improving procedures, re-engineering operations, and accelerating businesses.
We are working hard to ensure that we are fulfilling the strategy made by the management of OPAZ. And of course, there will be a review later on after 6 months by the team to ensure also that the evaluation of such progress, and later on we could really assess the management how we will really ensure to improve any fees that required in the future.
The reduced fees in the special economic zones and free zones include those related to the procedures for commercial registration, registration of contracts, licenses and permits related to conducting some businesses and commercial, industrial and tourism activities, investor work permits, environmental permits, urban planning services, construction and engineering affair permits, and the issuance of certificates and documents, permits for services for suppliers, government fees related to operations and investments, and others as well. This comes within the continuous endeavour of the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones to review and improve the fees for services and activities provided by the various zones, as well as to ensure providing speedy and efficient services.
Still to come, a news bulletin. After moving to 138 locations around the world, Oman's exhibition of tolerance, understanding and coexistence lands on UNESCO headquarters in Paris. Welcome back to the news from the Sultan of Oman television. GCC countries have urged the international community to give priority to climate change due to its wide and complex impacts. They voiced their concern for the phenomenon's negative implications of the security and safety of humanity, including the right to food. This was unveiled in a statement delivered by His Excellency Idris bin Abdurrahman Al-Khanjari, permanent representative of the Sultan of Oman's United Nations and International Organization in Geneva on behalf of the GCC states. The statement was delivered within the framework of a panel discussion on climate change as part of the 53rd session of the Human Rights Council. His Excellency pointed out that GCC countries were keen to constructively participate in global and regional conferences and initiatives in addressing the negative effects of climate change. Major General Hamid bin Ahmed Sakhoun, chairman of the Academy for Strategic and Defense Studies, today visited the National Defense College, NDC, to inspect the implementation of the annual strategic exercise Decision Making 10. The chairman of the Academy for Strategic and Defense Studies and several senior officers were briefed on the annual strategic exercise, Decision Making 10. Participants also gave the presentation on the exercise and means of responding to various scenarios. The Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology shared the latest updates within their respective role towards achieving the Sultan of Oman's plans to reach net zero by 2050. This came during the Green Mobility Forum organized by the Ministry. More details in the following report.
Organized by the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology, the Green Mobility Forum came to share the latest updates within the transport sector to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050.
Oman has committed to 2050 as a carbon neutral year. 18% of our emissions at the moment comes from the transport sector, be it the aviation, road transport or the marine activities. We believe that we are on target to achieve the interim targets. For example, 3% reduction by 2030, 35 by 2040, and complete green, green transformation by 2050.
This forum aims to deliver three main targets, which are the empowerment of the transport, communications and information technology sector through innovation and development in cooperation with public and private sector, enhancement of local added value, and finally development of local cadres. Those targets will be achieved through three different stages, namely a new one that aims to stimulate electrical vehicles and the use of hydrogen for heavy transport and trucks, the use of biofuels, enabling technology to reduce emissions, enabling all main roads with chargers for electrical vehicles, organizing big data for the transport sector, setting frameworks and legislation for future mobility such as the Internet of Things within transportation. The mid-stage aims to strengthen the ministry's efforts with partners in increasing the number of environmentally friendly vehicles, enabling the use of sustainable fuel for aircraft, providing smart mobility services as a service, and establishing a regional centre to provide ships with green fuel, reducing port emissions, and upgrading existing fuel stations to contain hydrogen fuel, in addition to linking public transport with the metro scheme in Muscat Governorate, while the final stage focuses on the overall trend of environmentally friendly vehicles and autonomous driving.
We have signed 5 different agreements, 2 of them between the Ministry of Transport, Communication and Information Technology, with 2 different entities. One of them where we will collaborate and we will be sort of a strategic partner in the Oman Sustainable Week, in the Expo, and we have launched the Green Mobility Awards, where we will be celebrating this yearly to award the best practices in the green mobility.
We launched our first Omani electric vehicle charging solution or charging company, which almost 76 chargers are there installed and operated. It is experienced by the EV users now in Oman, and it's from the border with UAE till Salalah. People can, the drivers of EV can drive the EV without a range anxiety, without a hassle, so no worries for them.
On the sidelines of this forum, a number of agreements and memorandums of understanding were signed. One to organize Oman Sustainability Week, another to install and prepare the infrastructure for electrical vehicle chargers in the Sultanate of Oman, in addition to AC chargers for destinations, and more to build an interconnected and integrated network of electrical chargers that enable fast and safe charging. Also, a signing of establishment for Evo Company to provide charging solutions for electric cars. A memorandum of understanding was also signed to start purchasing electric vehicle chargers from local Omani small and medium enterprises, in addition to signing a memorandum of understanding for the use of advanced technologies of electric chargers from local Omani small and medium enterprises. All efforts are aligned to achieve the ultimate goal, net zero by 2050. The Green Mobility Forum that we witnessed today does come to share the most prominent update within the transport sector. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Ahmed bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Muscat.
The Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs held an exhibition on tolerance, understanding and coexistence, Oman's message of Islam, at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. The exhibition seeks to promote interfaith dialogue and focuses on messages of religious tolerance, understanding and peaceful coexistence. Diplomats from various countries attended the exhibition that highlighted the Oman's mission to promote tolerance and dialogue between religions and nations. The exhibitions included shadow arts, calligraphy, and other digital media materials on interfaith dialogue and tolerance. It's worth mentioning that the exhibition moved to over 138 locations around the world to spread the Oman's message of understanding peace and coexistence to all nations and peoples of different faiths around the world. In cooperation between the Social Development Committee in the South Bulletin Governorate, a new OQ Social Center was inaugurated in the Wilaya of Sohar. Four social centers were established in the Wilaya of Sohar through CSR funding of 400,000 Omani Riyals to recreate the role of Omani Sablas in gathering young Omanis to maintain the local heritage and to cut down the expenses during social events like weddings and funerals. The inauguration ceremony was held under the auspices with Excellency Mohammed bin Slimani al-Kindi, Governor of North Al-Batina. And a two-day training workshop was held in Al-Sheikh Nadira Al-Riyami School in the Wilaya of Manah under the theme, The Young Journalist. More details in the following report.
Entitled The Young Journalist, a training workshop held at the Sheikh Nadira Al-Riyamiya School in the Wilaya of Manah in cooperation between the Ministry of Information and the Ministry of Education for 15 to 17-year-old school students to familiarize them with the principles of journalism and the skills required to join the media sector.
It was a fantastic workshop to take the role of presenter. I learned a lot of things about journalism and media principles.
The program shed light on the steps of preparing TV news reports with a focus on the ethics and writing structure of a news story.
I am really happy to learn how to be a TV presenter. It's an interesting job.
The participants also received hands-on training on capturing dynamic visuals that enhance the storytelling and the prominent role of the cameraman in TV production. Broadening youngsters' understanding of journalism before they embark on various media outlets will create a strong base of sophisticated journalists who will enrich the national media arena. صالح بوخلفان الرحبي, ولاية of Manah الداخلية, Governorate.
You're watching the Sultan of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The State Council Office discusses studies including activating domestic tourism sector and investing elements of Omani history in presenting and producing cultural tourism projects. Oman Investment Authority ranks second in the world in the Index of Development of Governance and Sustainability Performance between 2022 and 2023. And the Public Authority for Special Economic Zones and Free Zones reveals the details of the decision regarding setting fees for more than 80 services. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, and from me, Suhail Al-Kindi. Good night.